So first you need to ensure you've got BIM360 Field downloaded onto your iPad, and then we select and open it up. So you go into the login screen down here and it will give you a number of options of the different projects. So the Hebron UPM is the cable tray validation project, and if it's the first time you're opening the file, you'll need to go to the sync button down here. Select and ensure that library has sync all folders and equipment has sync filter all equipment, and then press sync. What we can then do is open up the project. So this is the view within BIM360. It's very easy to navigate. Two fingers pinching will zoom in and out. One finger navigation will enable you to circle, and two fingers left or right will move the whole facility. You can do exactly the same by touching on this touchpad and moving the navigation. So the way we set up was to create a number of views to make it easier in the field for the guys to use. So we can select the view icon here. Within our home layout we had views just for each deck levels. This is cellar deck, both ladder and punch tray. We can isolate just ladder tray, and the same for lower deck and lower deck ladder tray. So if we then go back further into the views, we set this up by construction zone. So this was the way that the model was configured, and it also enabled the guys in the field to have the same layouts that they had on the nodal drawings. So this here is E21UL North. So this is all the tray associated. We can go to a further level of detail by selecting, say, EM, which then just produces all the emergency tray. Same instruments for IN, LV, low voltage, T for telecoms. So the way that it works, you can zoom in on a piece of tray, you can select the tray you're wanting. Here we can press the information button and go across, so we can see up here in the right hand corner the name of the branch. We can then press this button in the top right hand corner, which will isolate. So this enables us to see the complete branch length, which means we're not going to partially or sign it off as complete if only part of the tray is complete. We can then select again, and by pressing this button here on the left, this will bring up the statusing. So we can see in the top left we have the tray number, the type is emergency. This particular tray it shows as complete, and that we can pull tray through it. We could change the status here if we wanted to. Checked not started, you can see it's updated, or it started, so it's in progress, and then we could say what the issue status is. So here we could say that the tray just isn't bolted. This then brings us back. We can take photos if there is an issue. This one here has a photo already selected from a previous punch. So all of this is recorded against the tag within the model. We can then say that we're done here. We then just click back on the tray, and we press this one here with the yellow square, and this brings us back out to the view that we were in, so we can continue the inspection process. We can obviously then look at all the different levels and areas of the facility, and the whole purpose of these views is just to create additional functionality. Another very intuitive part of the application. Here, if we press this arrow up and down that I've now got selected, you can literally move the iPad and it will follow your orientation exactly where you are, which can make it very beneficial, particularly in high areas of condensed tray. The next step, once we've captured the status that we want, we can press this up and down arrow in the bottom right hand corner. The orange dot indicates we have progress that isn't synced. So we can press this, and up in the top portion, this is the upload. So we knew we had updated one task. We can push across to the right. It tells us what it is, so we can delete it if it's not what we want. And then we literally press sync. And this will then sync the status back to the master system. Another very useful part of the functionality, in the bottom left hand corner we can select the menu button, and this will bring up a number of options. If we then select equipment, what this will do is bring up every single piece of tray associated with this project. So here we can do a simple search. Here we have CD19 and search on it, and what this will do is it will isolate everything that has CD19 within its ID. We can then select one of these. It will bring up the details around it. We can then also, in the top right hand corner, you see this show in model. So we can select on this, and what this should do is isolate it within the model. And that will be this yellow piece of tray here. So we can then go and jump into the end devices file. So here you go into your login screen. You will select the new project. So this is UPM devices new, and this will load up a new project. We click back here on the models. It would then bring up the UPM devices model file. So again, the functionality is the same. 2 fingers zoom in, 2 fingers zoom out. The difference here with end devices was this was set up to focus on area completions. So if we look at the views, we have individual deck level views which will isolate just for each deck level. But we set this up so it covered our 34 main area completion groups. So here if we select one, the UPS and battery rooms group 1, we can see everything here is largely complete. So again, we can select an individual device. Here there's no need to isolate because the device is just itself. So then we can jump into the statusing. So here at the top left you see the instrument name. In this case it's an instrument HVAC discrete junction box. So we can see the status is installed. HHI also had reported this installed. We installed it on the validated it on the 31st of October, as well as the seat and supports and the punch tray close by. So we can see from the overall cable schedule that there are 14 cables that go to this device. HHI, the contractor, had reported them, all 14. This is MRP cables pulled. 7 and 8 we had validated, all had been pulled and glanded, and all cables were shown as complete on the 23rd of October, with all terminations here complete on the 11th of December. And the other interesting piece down here is we can look at the individual cable lists. We could identify which is the missing cable number. So all of these attributes are easy to update. Again, we can take photos, we could log issues, etc. We can jump in, just have another look at one of the other rooms. Here's the CCR, exactly the same type of functionality. We can also go in to do the equipment search. So here, we might be just looking for junction boxes, for example. Search, and here, so anything that has JB in its description or in its ID will be selected. So if you obviously know the exact device you're looking for, it's very, very easy to jump to it, and then again we can show it in the model.